Ah, yes, the honeymoon. That once-in-a-lifetime trip for couples at the peak of their love for each other. The one time everyone is willing to splurge on premium cabins and luxury hotels, only to end up with a major bill of tens of thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to be that way. I'll show you how I booked our €32,000 honeymoon trip around the world using points and miles and only paid. Stick around, it's coming up. Hello everyone, this is Kevin from Points Travel Tech. Booking a trip to a single destination on points and miles can be pretty straightforward. Find flight availability that suits you, book it, reserve a hotel, done. When it comes to longer itineraries that include multiple cities or countries, things start to get a bit more complicated. This honeymoon trip was my first complex points booking, and with this video I aim to share my decisions and techniques on what I ended up doing, but would also love your inputs and tips to make this type of trip planning better, since I definitely didn't do this perfectly. The initial planning started with these building blocks. The rough route was to start in Vienna, Austria, head over to the United States, and end up in Hawaii. Then to continue to Tokyo, and from there fly back home to Vienna. From a points perspective, I had miles and more miles at my disposal, including my senator status with miles and more. Additionally, I had Austrian American Express membership rewards points, City Thank You points from my City Premier card, Chase Ultimate Rewards points from my Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and finally, a bunch of Hilton Honors points that I had collected with the help of the American Express Aspire card. The final itinerary now consists of 10 flights with 60 hours in the air and 6 hotels on 3 continents with a cash value of €32,000. We're paying €7,200 out of pocket. The most important part of being successful with award bookings is flexibility. You lose some of this flexibility once you have a departing and a return flight. Having flexible currencies like credit card points can be advantageous in these situations, since you're not locked into one program or airline alliance. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and walk through the itinerary. All prices mentioned from here on out refer to the total for 2 people. Naturally, I'll be releasing videos of all flights and hotels after the trip, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when they go online. It's free and helps me out a lot. We're starting with a flight from Vienna to Milan. We're flying economy since we have senator status. This grants us free extra baggage, lounge access, fast track, priority check-in, and priority boarding. The only thing missing from sitting in business is the blocked middle seat and the free meal. If the flight is not fully booked, chances are we won't have a seat neighbor, since Austrian Airlines will block our adjacent seat as long as they can due to our status. This is a non-advertised perk not everyone knows about. This flight cost us €250 one way. In Milan, I booked the Hilton Milan far in advance and was shocked to see that the rate of the cheapest room was €240 a night. But since I booked a flexible rate, I could cancel and rebook for free. I periodically checked the prices as time went by, ended up rebooking 3 times, and now we're paying €170 a night, €70 in savings. The reason why we're flying to Milan is the next flight, one of the best sweet spots when it comes to flying with Emirates. This Fifth Freedom route from Milan to New York JFK is flown with an Airbus A380 and was luckily not hit by the heavy increases in service charges that Emirates introduced this year. I really want to fly in first class so I can strike off the bucket list item of showering in the sky. The only problem? No first class award space when I started my search. So I had 2 options. Either check back every day in hopes award space would pop up, or book business class tickets and hope for an upgrade. Since I needed to secure a flight, booking business class award tickets was a no-brainer. The good thing about Emirates is that they allow upgrades with miles even if your initial ticket was an award booking. The only downside is that the final amount of miles needed is slightly higher than booking first class directly. But this was a sacrifice I was willing to make to secure a ticket for my desired date. As it stands right now, we're still confirmed in business class, and so far used 145,000 miles and 174 euros. An upgrade to first class would run us an additional 60,000 miles for the both of us. Booking first class directly would have cost 170,000 miles. I transferred the 145,000 from my American Express Austrian membership rewards account at a ratio of 5:4. The miles transfer instantly, which is great. Emirates offers you an option to get notified when an upgrade is available or to auto-upgrade if award space opens up and you have the needed miles in your account. So I added an additional 60,000 miles to my account by transferring City Thank You points at a 1:1 ratio and checked the auto-upgrade option. If award space isn't made available until 48 hours before takeoff, then you can upgrade to any remaining first class seat at check-in or even when boarding the plane for the same price. I'm banking on this. You can use Expert Flyer to see if seats are still available. Worst case scenario, we fly in business class and I'm only stuck with 60,000 miles on my account. Totally a first world problem and a risk I was willing to take. If we score the upgrade, our miles will be worth 3.6 cents per point as the cash price would be 7,615 euros. Please wish us luck with the upgrade. New York hotel prices are absolutely insane. When I started my searches, the cheapest rooms started at $300 a night. Let's cut this short. I used 2 free night certificates I earned with my American Express Hilton Aspire card for a suite at the Conrad Midtown. This suite would have cost $1,622 in total, making one certificate worth $811. Considering the card costs $450 a year, this return is insane. But psst, don't tell my wife. She thinks we're staying at a crappy hotel since the prices were so high. The Hilton Aspire card actually helped with our next flight as well. We're taking the direct flight from Newark to Honolulu with United in so-called first class. It's their longest domestic flight at almost 11 hours. Award flights to Hawaii are notoriously hard to come by, and there was no availability in sight. I wanted a direct flight to save time and to score some lie flat seats, so my sights were set on this route. The cash price for this one-way flight was $2,747. Here is where the Aspire card comes in. One of the benefits is an annual $250 airline incidental credit. I used this credit with the United Travel Bank 2 years in a row, which essentially acts as United gift cards valid for 3 years. I spent the $500 I accumulated on these tickets, bringing the price down to $2,247. A price I was willing to pay since this is our honeymoon. After arriving in Honolulu, we'll hop on an Hawaiian Airlines flight to Maui in economy. We paid $10 per person for priority seating and priority boarding, making a total of $96. Hawaii is another notoriously expensive travel destination. We were able to find 5 nights at the Grand Wailea, a Waldorf Astoria resort with points. Due to the 5th night free perk, this stay will cost us 380,000 points. If you want to know more about this perk, I would recommend watching my Ultimate Hilton Honors Guide. I'll link it below in the description. Cash price would be $6,768, resulting in 1.78 cents per point, which is good value for Hilton points. After 5 nights in Maui, we'll head to Big Island. Flight prices were already higher, resulting in $186 for the flight. The next 5 nights we'll spend at the Hilton Waikoloa Village for 280,000 points. The cash rate was $2,819, resulting in 1 cent per point. Considering the Points Guy values Hilton points at 0.6 cents per point, this is also a good deal. After another $96 island hop back to Honolulu, we will check into our very first Hyatt hotel ever since I ran out of Hilton points. Specifically, the Hyatt Regency Waikiki Beach Resort and Spa. It's the most expensive of the 3 Hyatts on the island, but it was the only one with award availability, resulting in 40,000 Hyatt points for 2 nights. I used 40,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points I had acquired through my Chase Sapphire Preferred card. The only downside is that we don't have any status with Hyatt, so that means we won't get upgraded and we will have to pay for breakfast. We'll get over it. After spending almost 2 weeks in paradise, we didn't want to go back the way we came from. My original plan was to fly on the A380 from ANA in first class from Honolulu to Tokyo. Using Virgin Atlantic miles would have been a really nice sweet spot. I already had a Lufthansa first class award flight booked from Tokyo to Vienna via Frankfurt, which made us very inflexible. Since Japan was showing no signs of reopening, award space from Honolulu to Tokyo Narita was nowhere to be seen, and cash prices were really high, I reluctantly decided to change our plans. I cancelled the Lufthansa flight for €50 per person. This was possible since it was an award booking, a great advantage of booking this way. Instead, we booked a flight to Seoul with Hawaiian Airlines in their first class. We paid $3,260, a lot, but it was the best deal I could find. Since this overnight flight is 11 hours, there was no way I wouldn't spend that time in a lie-flat seat. Our final hotel is the Conrad Seoul for 5 nights. Having almost run out of Hilton points, I had to get creative. Initially, I wanted to use the free night certificates, but the rate was only around €250 a night, so using them in New York was the far superior choice. In the end, I used the remaining points I had for the first 2 nights. 122,000 were necessary. Cash price would have been €523, resulting in a value of 0.42 cents per points. A bad deal. But after spending so much on the flight, I was happy not having to pay cash for the whole stay. The remaining 3 nights would have cost €798. Initially, I wanted to use the $100 property credit I could access through my Aspire card, a lesser used perk as it only works when you pay cash at Conrad, Waldorf Astoria or LXR hotels. But then I thought I should check out the Impresario rates. Lo and behold, Impresario had a 3-for-2 offer running at the Conrad Seoul, resulting in a cash price of €575, saving me €224. But not only that, the Impresario rate comes with a $100 hotel credit, free breakfast, and double Hilton base points. I booked the stay through Spencer from Straight to the Points. Link below. If you want to know more about the Impresario rates, then again, check out my Ultimate Hilton Honors Guide, linked in the description. Our final flight is from Seoul to Vienna with Lufthansa in business class via Frankfurt. This was a straightforward award booking, costing us 106,500 miles and more miles and €567 in taxes and fees. The route is serviced by a Boeing 747-400, meaning there is no first class on board. My senator status comes with the companion award perk, resulting in the second ticket for my wife only costing 50% of the miles needed. The same status would allow us to book Swiss first class with miles, but they don't fly to Seoul and there were no alternatives available. So the upper deck in the Queen of the Skies will have to suffice. And that's how I booked our honeymoon worth €32,000 and only spent €7,200. What could I have done better? Obviously, finding award space for all flights would have brought the cost down a lot. But travel demand is very high and the supply simply isn't back to pre-COVID levels, and people are very much willing to spend money on flights. This results in very low award availability. I was really fixated on flying to Tokyo, even though the country was still closed to tourists. If I had abandoned that plan sooner, I might have gotten a better deal or an award flight to Seoul. Planning the trip even sooner might have also helped. If you're not able to be super flexible close to your departure, then planning over a year in advance is another great bet on scoring award seats right when the airline releases the flights. The exact day flights go online vary from airline to airline. Lufthansa, for example, releases flights 360 days in advance. Emirates, 328 days. British Airways, 355 days, and so on. I'll link an article below by upgraded points listing many airlines' special number. But even if I would have found award space for all our flights, I most definitely would not have had enough points to cover them all. What could I have done here? The only option I can think of is points transfer bonuses. This is when credit card issuers or airlines increase the miles you get when you transfer your points. This happens regularly, but it's hard to bank on it. The increases are usually around 20%, but Qatar had a 40% bonus going this year for every credit card currency they partner with. Something like this would have saved a lot of points, but when I was booking, there were no promotions available that fit my needs. I'm happy with our result as a first complex award trip, but I'm really curious to hear your feedback, questions, and tips. Head down to the comments right now. When the itinerary is not so complex, the best use of my points so far was flying Lufthansa first class. You can see how that trip went by clicking on this video right here. Until next time, happy travels and see you soon.